Hello guys, this is your friend Uzumkai Universe 2.0 and we are back with a new fanfic. Which is What If Naruto Got Harem Ino and Makoto and Kurenai Hinata, Part 1. And if you enjoy this fanfic then please give me hype instead of comment and subscribe to my channel for more fanfic like this. And now let's start the fanfic. Many years of torture was finally taking its toll on the blonde boy's mind. As yet again he was walking home from another beating. All he could wonder was if he will ever be accepted or just accept the fact that he was nothing but a demon. Why do they still don't accept me? Why do you want their acceptance? Why is it so important? A voice said in his mind. Because I want them to see me as a human and not a demon, the blonde boy stated. I mean, what do I have to do become Hokage? He paused. That's it, I will become the Hokage and that way they will have no choice but accept me. You know that won't work, Naruto. They will never let you be Hokage. Whatever, at least now I have a goal, and even if I can't reach it, it will help me keep my sanity and won't go demon on them and slaughter the village. You say that if it was a bad thing, the voice joked, but if it is what you want I will help you out, Naruto-kun. Thanks, Kyuubi-chan, Naruto said as they reached his apartment. He opened the door only for the room to explode. Naruto was sent flying back down the hall. After he landed hard on the floor he noticed that all the room on his floor were empty and that the resident had moved out. Seconds later he heard what seemed to be cheering and clapping. Thing like, the demon is finally dead, and, we finally did it. Naruto just laid there as the flame began to consume the apartment building. So this is how it ends, days after I become a ninja, and die without even going on a mission. Naruto stated, not even knowing the pleasure of battle, the beauty of two ninjas locked in a dangerous dance of skill and determination. As he finished, his world began to get darker and darker, never to find love or start a family, but really who would love a demon? Kit, wake up. You must wake up, get out of here, you must survive. Kyuubi yelled behind her cage. What's the point? Face it, if I don't die here they will just kill me later. The blonde said while looking at the ground. Come, Kyuubi-chan, let me rest for the last time in this miserable thing I call my life. Please let the sweat embrace of death comfort me. Fine, Naruto-kun, go to sleep, she said as turned into her human form. She was about 5 feet 10. Her hair was dark black with hints of red streaks running through them. She wore a red kimono that clung to her body, showing her curves very well. Her face was flawless, her eyes were red. She walked up to her jailer and began to hug him. It's fine, Naruto-kun, I will be here till the end, she said while she ran her hands through his hair. She couldn't help but to let the tears run down her cheek. Those bastards will pay for what they have done to Naruto-kun, oh they will pay. Ino was walking home from a party that was held by one of her former classmates. She had left early. The only reason she even went because secretly she wanted to see a certain blonde, but she wouldn't admit it publicly. Oh, how that boy had won her over. She saw the way the villagers had treated him and how his determination to make it through it all with a smile on his face even though she knew it was a mask. He wasn't as handsome as some of the other boys, but his heart was pure, and would do anything for his precious people. Also he was loud, but that's what made Naruto well Naruto. She giggled remembering some of the antics Naruto had gotten into, like when he changed the signs of the women bathrooms for the males one. When Iruka-sensei walked in and saw that he was in the women's bathroom, but to make matters worse Anko, Kurenai, and others were in there, he tried to explain but got one of the worst beatings. He managed to break free and ran down the hallway all the while yelling, Naruto, I'm going to kill you. The whole class was on the ground laughing. That was Naruto for you, always made life fun. She was quietly walking when she heard an explosion. She quickly ran toward the commotion. After arriving she saw a mob cheering and dancing. She went up to one of the villagers to ask what happened. After hearing how they rigged the apartment to blow to kill the demon she realized whose apartment it was. Naruto, she said and ran into the building. Ino, stop this second, a voice came from the back of the crowd. Ino stopped and turned around only to see her father. Dad, what the meaning of this? He glared at his daughter. I did this village a favor, now leave this place now. No, I got to save Naruto. she replied as tears were flowing because of what her father did. You leave that demon to burn, go home. But I love him. She yelled only to realize what she had said but didn't care anymore. No daughter of mine will love a demon. You go in there and I have no daughter, so what is it going to be? Ino's father yelled knowing that would pick him over that demon, but what he saw next made him very angry and disappointed. She didn't even think about it as she ran into the burning building. Her vision was blurry as the heat and the smoke burned her eyes, but she didn't care as she made her way up to Naruto's floor. After she reached it, she saw Naruto face down. She ran towards him, got on her knees, flipped him around. He had blood on his forehead from the blast. She wiped the blood off his face as she started to cry. Naruto, please wake up, please, was all she said as tears flowed freely from her eyes. She looked down at her love and saw the peaceful expression on his face. More of the building started to fall around them, but she didn't care. She made her choice. She wasn't going to go back. She had basically committed social suicide, but she would be finally happy. I've got to tell him how I feel, she said as she made some hand signs, mind transfer justice. Her body went limp. Shortly she found herself in a huge room. The walls were painted red with black symbols on it. The ceiling there were beautiful chandeliers that were pure gold. The floor was made of black marble. It looked like a palace from what she could tell. In the far side of the room she could see Naruto. He was laying in a large bed. Sitting next to him was a beautiful woman. She slowly made her way towards Naruto. Stop, who are you and what do you want? She said. My name is Ino and I want to see Naruto one last time. Ino replied. Why, so you can make fun of him, or maybe to kill him? She replied with anger laced on her voice. Can't you see that you have finally broke him? He doesn't want to live anymore, leave now. After hearing that Naruto was broken inside, she felt ashamed because she had helped them accomplish that, but still decided to make things right. No, I just want to tell him my feeling, before we both die. Ino said with tears flowing. This is how she would make things right. She would die right next to him. You would die with him, why? The woman asked while tilting her head, confused about what the girl had said because she knew she was one of the people that tortured him in the past. Because I love him, I've always loved him. I don't know what I would do without him and I am not going to find out. Ino paused. I'll follow Naruto anywhere, even into the afterlife, she finished as she fell on her knees. What about that Uchiha? I thought you love him. I never liked him. It was all an act for my family and friends. She paused for a moment. How stupid was I, trying to make myself fall for someone that I didn't even liked, almost laughing at herself for being that naive. If only I just followed my heart and not my family. Who knows, maybe things would have been different, but what's done is done, and there is nothing we can do about it. What would you be willing to do to save him? Would be willing to become a demon yourself? The woman asked. I would do anything for him, Ino replied. Is there a way to save him? If he wanted revenge on the village, will you help him with his goal? The woman asked again. If Naruto wanted the world for himself, I would not rest until he had it in his hand, Ino yelled. But tell me, is there a way? Do you really mean that, Ino? A voice said, that Ino immediately recognized. Of course, Naruto-kun, Ino said as she looked up at the figure looking back at her. She was happy to finally hear his voice, if only for one last time, but it was enough. Then something hit her. What if he is still mad at me, or what if he doesn't feel the same way as me? She thought as she still had a fixed gaze at Naruto. Naruto got out of his bed and began to walk towards Ino. You don't know how happy that make me feel. He paused. But I'm afraid the Naruto you fell in love with is dead. I cannot forgive this village for what they did to me. He looked startled at her with anger in his eyes. No more will I take the insults or the beating, no more. Ino looked at him with terror still flowing down her cheeks. Naruto-kun, I'm sorry. For what, Ino? For all those time I made fun of you and the hell I put you through. Naruto walked up to her and picked her up and began to hug her. Ino-chan, I forgave you a long time ago. He paused for a second. To tell you the truth, I always liked you but was scared to talk to you. Ino thought for a minute before asking, what about Sakura? You never seemed to be nervous about talking to her. While still holding her, he began to explain that he never liked her and found her quite ugly, not physically but her personality. He only acted like he liked her so Ino wouldn't find out. If one thing he hated was rejection from the girl he liked, so he went after her. Also, why he acted as a total idiot, it was all an act to cover the pain he felt. I guess we both played an act to fool each other because the fear of rejection, but really if we just acted on what our hearts told us, we could be happier now. Yes, Ino-chan, if only we did, but past is past and there is nothing we could do about it. The Naruto you knew is dead and now the mask has broken. Naruto paused for a moment before continuing. Would you still love me if I become the very thing they called me? Would still care if I go and kill everyone who even looked at me the wrong way? Would you love a demon? Of course I would. Hell, I'll even become a demon myself just to be with you. Well then, why don't you? That way Naruto's life can be spared as my demonic chakra will be split, giving Naruto-kun a better chance of surviving the ritual. Okay, if it will save Naruto-kun, I will become a demon myself. Ino-chan, are you sure about this? This procedure will alter your mind, you will not be the same Ino. Naruto asked. Naruto-kun, I would follow you to hell just to be with you. Ino said. Ino, you know what that means, right? He said, trying to give her a last chance to change her mind, but Ino just nodded. Okay, Kyuubi-chan, start the ritual. Kyuubi began to make some strangle hand signs. After finishing, a circle appeared. Kyuubi then slit her wrists, and as the blood flowed she motioned them to get closer. Drink my blood and become demons, she said. Naruto and Ino both latched onto her wrists and began to drink. They fell to the ground from the pain that followed. Their bodies began to change as the demon chakra began to take effect. After a minute they both got up and looked at each other. Naruto's eyes were now red with slits in them, his canines were longer, his hair was still blonde but the tips were now red. He was now wearing black pants with a chain wrapped around his waist, his shirt was red and had at the back it had the symbol of death on it. Over that he had a trench coat also black and it reached down to his feet. Ino was wearing a kimono that was red with black roses printed all over. Her hair was now flowing down her back, same as Naruto in color, blonde with red tips. Her blue eyes were now red also. Ino looked at Naruto and blushed, as did Naruto as he looked at her before turning to Kyuubi. He walked towards the paper seal that was holding her captive and ripped it off with one tug. Kyuubi-chan, you are now free, he said. Out the building the villagers were still celebrating when the ground started to shake, knocking some of them over. They looked up at the building and some of the villagers began to piss themselves while others began to cry. In front of them there stood the one thing that brought them fear, the nine-tailed fox. The ninjas started to show up shortly after, the third did too. What is the meaning of this? The third asked, but nobody wanted to answer. I can answer that, Hokage, Naruto said as he walked out of the burning building. These villagers tried to kill me and make it look like an accident. I was about to die, so I released her. But that's not all, is it, Naruto-kun? Ino stated as she also came out of the building. Of course not, Ino-chan, he stated as he put his hands around her waist. Let my daughter go, you demon, Ino's father yelled. I thought your daughter was dead, Ino stated. Now Ino-chan, you don't have to talk to these humans, after all they all will die, Naruto said while leaking some killer intent, which made the ninjas get into defensive stances. Now no need for that, if I was going to kill you I would have done so. Naruto paused before continuing, okay, I am going to offer you all one time, whoever want to come with me come forward and no harm will come to you. After a minute no one said a word. He was about to speak when he heard a whisper. Naruto-kun, is that why you? A girl said in the back. Hinata, what happened to you? Naruto said as he noticed she had cuts and bruises on her arms and a black eyes. My dad found that I wasn't hanging with you to beat me, said I am going to the caged bird tomorrow, she said with tears rolling down her face. Hinata-chan, come with me and no one will ever hurt you again, Naruto said as he walked towards her and reached out his hand, which Hinata accepted without even thinking. Naruto-kun, I just want to tell you that I love you, she said softly into his ear as he carried her next to Ino. I know and I will protect you for all eternity, Naruto said as he bit her on the neck. Hinata whimpered at the pain but did not scream. A bright light suddenly engulfed her, that bursted, making everyone temporarily blind. When they got their vision back, couldn't believe what they saw. Hinata, the shy girl that was beaten, now stood confidently next to Naruto. She was now wear a blue kimono with black roses printed on it. Her eyes were now red also. The only thing that remained the same was her hair. Hokage-sama, I'll tell you this right now, this village will fall and I'm going to burn it to the ground, but as a show of respect for protecting me all those years I am going to wait until you die, Naruto said as the villager were now cowering in fear, but if anyone comes near me, Ino-chan or Hinata-chan, they will die a very slow and painful death. He warned as he turned around to his girls. Come girl, time to leave, he said as he jumped on Kyuubi's head. Seconds later, Ino landed to his right side as Hinata landed on the left. In a burst of fire they were gone. Hokage-sama, what do we do now? One of the ninjas asked. You heard him, if we chase him he will destroy the village. For now we will train more shinobi and try to get more allies, but I doubt that they will ally themselves now. He said. Tomorrow the village is now on wartime laws. Well, there you have it. Hope you liked the revised version. Please review and tell me what you think. Many months later, the village of Konoha was on full alert. The third had stepped up its patrols along its borders. He sent many ambassadors to many of the hidden village to set up alliances for the upcoming war. So far Kurigakure, Sunagakure and various smaller villages had joined with Konoha as they set aside their differences to fight their common enemy. Jiraiya had returned to the village and was training the new genins. The council was disbanded as their decision process was too slow in a time of war, so the Hokage had complete control of the village. Unknown to them, a pair of red eyes were watching them from the shadows. Suddenly the figure disappeared to report to his master. Meanwhile, somewhere near Rain Country in one of its border cities, the figure appeared in front of a rather large building. He made his way up to the last floor where there was a large door. The door had various foxes engraved in it. He slowly opened the door to a dark room. The only light that could be seen were from candles that were on the wall. He looked up to desk in the far end of the room. There he saw a shadow. Even though he could not see his face, he knew that he was staring right into his very soul. Itachi, what is the report? The shadow said. Naruto-sama, it seems Konoha has prepared for a war. The Sannin named Jiraiya has returned to train the new genins. They have increased their patrols on its borders. Itachi reported. Ha, 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 that's rich, so they seem to think they can stop the inevitable. Fine, let them think they can, all the more fun for me. Naruto said. It at all? No sir, it would seem that they have allied themselves with Kiri, Suna, and some rather smaller village to aid them in their cause. Like that really matters, that only means more blood for me and my beauties to spill, right girls? Yes, Naruto-kun, two female voices said behind Itachi. Ino-chan, Hina-chan, did you have fun? Yes we did, Naruto-kun. Ino said with a smile on her face that sent shivers down Itachi's spine. And what about Orochimaru, did he take my offer? Why don't you ask him yourself? He is dying to see you. Hinata said as she threw his severed head at Naruto's feet. Oh Orochimaru, I'm glad you saw it my way. Naruto said as he drove his foot down on the head and smashed his head like a pumpkin and sending blood and brain matter all over the room. Well, it seems that sound is up for the grabs. Them Itachi, I want your men to go into sound and conquer it, make them bow to my dominion, and any who doesn't, make sure they suffer a very slow and painful death. Naruto ordered. It will be done, Naruto-sama. Itachi said as he bowed and poofed away. Outside the building, Itachi appeared and let out a sigh of relief. He was scared of him. Yes, the mighty Uchiha was scared to death of Naruto. He still to this day remember when he first saw him. Flashback 2 months ago. Naruto, Ino and Hinata were walking into a small farming village. Itachi and Kisame were following them very closely. We get him when they fall asleep, right? Kisame asked. Yes we will, for now let's keep an eye on them. Itachi replied. They watched as Naruto stopped in front of the largest house in the whole village. They both got into position to make their strike when they heard the couple speaking. Ino-chan, Hinata-chan, what do you think about this place? Naruto asked. I love it. Ino said. It's okay, but I need some entertainment, I'm getting bored. Hinata said. Now Hina-hime, don't worry, you will. But first we need to rest for the night. Tomorrow I promise we will have all the fun you can handle, Naruto said as he looked around the village. Tomorrow indeed. Naruto walked up to the door and knocked. A man came to the door. He was about in his mid-30s, had a mustache and was quite large. What do you want, brat? The man yelled. I like your house, I'm going to take now, Naruto said with a smile on his face. Who is it, dear? A woman said as she was holding her 10-year-old son behind her. No one, go back to the living room, he said as he turned to her before turning back to Naruto. Now you leave this place before we have trouble. Tisk. 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 You talk like you have a choice in the matter. You see, my girls like this house and they want it, and what they want they get, Naruto said. Lee, the man tried to say, but Naruto had grabbed him by the throat. Ino and Hinata were jumping up and down and squealing as they saw their Naruto at work. Naruto brought the man closer to him and whispered in his ear, don't worry about you wife and kid, I'll take care of them very soon. The man's eyes suddenly opened wide and tears began to flow. Suddenly Naruto ripped the man's throat out and blood sprayed all over Naruto's face. Naruto dropped the man on the floor. The man was gurgling on the floor as he tried to yell. Naruto turned to his girls and said, have fun. Both girls squealed and ran into the house. Naruto them look at the man as he was slowly drowning in his own blood. Come, the fun is about to start, he told the man as he picked him up and sent some chakra into the man so he wouldn't die. All through the night they could hear the screams of the family as they were tortured. The next morning Naruto was standing on top of the clumps of flesh that used to be the family. Ino and Hinata were by his side with smile on their faces. What a night, and that is only the beginning, we still got a whole village to slaughter, Naruto said with a smile that could make even the strongest shinobi piss themselves. Oh, this is going to be so much fun, Naruto-kun, Ino said as she licked the blood off Naruto's face. Hey, save some for me, Hinata said as she too began to lick the blood off Naruto. So sweet. All three left the house and began to walk into the town square when a small boy ran into Naruto. Naruto looked at the boy. In return, the boy got up and began to apologize. Naruto lifted his hand and brought it down, striking the boy through the heart, killing him instantly. Many villagers saw this and began to yell and run away. Oh, how I love it when the prey run, make it much more fun, Naruto said as the girls agreed. Have fun. It was high noon when they were done. The village was no more, building were on fire. The ground was soaked red with the blood of the villagers. No one was spared, not the men nor women, or children. They were all slaughtered like cattle. In the center of the town was a pile of the heads of the villagers as Naruto stood on top laughing as if it was a game. Itachi and Kisame could not believe the carnage that they were seeing. End flashback. Itachi just stuttered as he remembered that day. He quickly ran across town to a smaller building. It had a sign of a fox on the entrance to warn off would-be thieves. Over the last couple of months everyone knew to leave that building alone. Itachi walked into the building. It was composed of 4 rooms. One was the living area where the people would sleep and hang out. The next room was the office area where they would get their orders. The next was a kitchen. It wasn't very big, but it did the job. Lastly was the training area. It was by far the biggest of the building. It had 4 sparring areas, 2 area for practicing judo in and an area to store weapons and forbidden justice. Itachi walked up to 9 ninjas and yelled, "Everyone in the office now," and walked off. After everyone were seated they went on with the meeting. Itachi began. Lord Naruto has ordered us to go into Oto and conquer it, for in his name we are to use extreme force and execute any who oppose us. Meanwhile, back with Naruto, he was sitting in his office reviewing his that he had acquired, when a small fox appeared. "Okiko, what's the report?" "Master, it would seem that the one called Sasuke has been issued a C-rank mission to Wave, as he is to escort a bridge builder and protect him until it is done. Hiko reported as he bowed to his new master. What are the names of his team and who is the sensei? Naruto asked. Sakura, Tanushi and their sensei Kakashi, master. Really now I guess it would be rude of me to not pay them a visit then, he said with a smirk on his face. Also master, there have been reports of Zabuza and his apprentice Haku were seen in the area, the fox stated as he bowed. Fine, I want you to go fetch Itachi and Kisame and tell them to find replacements from my army for the invasion on Oto. I have a special assignment for those two. Right away master. The fox bowed and poofed out of the room. Are we going on a trip, love? A voice said as a pair of arms wrapped around Naruto's shoulders. Naruto quickly turned around and grabbed the shadow and began to kiss her. After a minute he broke the kiss. Yes Inohime, we're going to see some old friends. You remember Sasuke and Sakura, right? Upon hearing those names Ino huffed and began to mutter under her breath about how a certain four-head girl was a sorry excuse for a ninja. Now Inohime, no need to get flustered, they will get what's coming to them in due time, besides what I got planned for them you're just going to love. He said as he kissed her up and down her neck, nipping in certain areas causing her to moan at the pain pleasure. Just then Itachi and Kisame entered the room and saw their leader with one of his lovers and were about to leave when he said, about time you got here, I want both of you to accompany to wave and visit some old friends, he ordered as he hugged Ino. I hope everything is ready for the Oto invasion, correct? Hi Lord Naruto, everything is all set for the invasion. Oto will be yours by the end of the week and we will have everything ready by then for your arrival. Itachi bowed as did Kisame, as this was the third time he had seen their new leader. Flashback 2 months ago. Naruto and his girls were walking near the border of rain and fire when they were confronted with Itachi and Kisame. Naruto-kun, you are to come with us, Itachi stated with no emotion on the outside but was frightened on the inside as they still remembered the massacre that he and his girls had done. And if I don't, what then are you going to make me? Naruto replied, not really caring, but soon realized that if he got control of Akatsuki he would have some of the most powerful shinobi in the world at his disposal. Fine, we will go with you. To say Itachi was surprised was an understatement. After 3 days of walking they reached the opening of a cave. They slowly walked in and before they knew it they were surrounded by all the members of the Akatsuki. Well, what a welcoming party, I am flattered, but now I am going to say this once, bow down before me or you will die. Naruto yelled. Laughter filled the air as all 10 of the ninjas were laughing at the boy, demanding them to bow down. Pain, the leader at the time, walked up to Naruto and tried to kill him for such a lack of respect. As he brought up his sword everyone stopped laughing and watched their leader. Soon his sword came down ready to kill him, only for the sword to stop in its tracks. When he looked up he found that Naruto had stopped the sword with his bare hands. He struggled to loosen the grip but couldn't. In one motion Naruto plunged his free hand into Pain's chest and pulled out his still beating heart. Tisk, 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 and here I was trying to be civilized but it seems I have to make an example then, after which he made several hand signs. Demonic arts, hell's wrath. Soon his hand was engulfed in black flames and for the first time since the creation of Akatsuki, Pain, the leader, so powerful that he had to split his body into 6, scream in pain as his flesh began to melt off his body, but not only that, 5 other bodies were hurt as well. Naruto in one move killed 6 incarnations of Pain. After seeing this they all got on their knees knowing that they could kill him not even if they all attacked him at once. That day they received the Fox's mark, a mark that gives the wearer enormous power but can kill if they betray the one they pledge their loyalty. To sum up, it's similar to the curse mark Orochimaru used. Flashback over. Naruto entourage finally made their way to Wave just as Zabuza started to fight with Kakashi. Well, it looks like we arrived just in time to see a show, Naruto said as he held both of his girls, and with Itachi on his right and Kisame to the left. Tell me this, Kisame, did you teach Zabuza when he was younger? Hi Naruto-sama, I did. Then will he be useful to me then? Naruto said, not looking at Kisame. Hi, he would make an excellent addition to your ranks. Not many people know this about him, but he is a genius when it comes to strategy. If you look to the left, you'll see what I mean. Everyone look at the place Kisame pointed to, and they saw a hunter nin overlooking the battle. Naruto was impressed at the forethought that Zabuza had used, but at the same time the hunter nin was studying the opponent. As they always say, heaven means for escape. Yes, he will be valuable, but he has to survive first. They looked on as the battle was escalating. It had seemed that Kakashi was about to kill Zabuza, but the hunter nin was about to make a move. Well, I guess it's show time. So you can read the future. Zabuza said as he was pinned to the tree. Yes, I can, and Zabuza, you have no future, and was about to attack when he noticed Senbon needles coming at him, but the needles never hit their targets as several kunai knives hit them out of the way. Soon after, all the ninjas present heard clapping and 5 shadows appeared on the edge of the clearing. Nice show, I was impressed to say the least. The middle shadow said. Who are you and what do you want? Kakashi yelled, getting very nervous as he didn't have the energy to fight. You know, Kakashi, that hurts. I can't believe you don't remember me. I mean, how can you forget the person you tried to kill every time he crossed your path? The shadow said, faking hurt. Kakashi thought for a moment before it hit him. Shit, it can't be you, Naruto, after which he heard clapping and laughing. Good, you finally remembered, he said as he stepped into the sunlight. Shit, this couldn't happen at the worst time, he thought before turning to his team and yelled, run away from here, there is no way that you can beat him, it is out of your league, hell, he is out of mine, now go save yourselves, that's an order. His team was about to protest, but when they saw the fear Kakashi had, they turned around to run away when they heard a familiar voice. You know, Sakura, it's not polite to say hello to a friend that made the trip to see you all the way out here. Sakura stopped dead in her tracks and turned around to the next shadow come forward. She couldn't believe who she saw, her old friend and rival Ino. Ino, I thought you died, at least that is what they told us, Sakura said, confused at what she was seeing. Oh, Sakura, that Ino did die a long time ago, but I was reborn into what you see today, she said as she made her way towards Naruto. Oh, and what would that be? Sakura asked, still confused but no wondering who the male was and why he looked so familiar. I am now the demoness Fox of Fire, or as some people call me, Foxfire, you may have heard the name, she said as she hugged Naruto. Of course she heard the name before, who hasn't? Foxfire, that name alone caused fear in all of the Fire Country, but something was on her mind. Foxfire was always accompanied with another person, Iceblade. But from what the reports said, they were both females, and the one Ino was with was obviously not her, as it was a man, so where was she? So Ino, tell me, who is Iceblade, and who is that? Now Sakura-chan, I can't believe you forgot me too, Naruto said, but to answer your question, Hinata-chan, you can come out now and introduce yourself. Yes, Naruto-kun, hello everyone, my old name was Hinata, but now I go by Iceblade and I am the demoness of ice. Pleasure to kill, I mean met you, she said as she made her way towards Naruto's side. Kakashi was cursing up a storm about how things turned out. Zabuza was in awe. He had these names and heard of the demoness of fire and ice. He also heard of their beauty, but never did he imagine they were true. Then something hit him. They were also reports that they were married to a very powerful being, the Crimson Fox. The very sound of the name made the strongest man cry like a baby. Everywhere he went, death was sure to follow, and by the looks on how both demoness were hanging off the man, it had to be him. Sakura was about to say something when she heard Zabuza yell, well, now if it isn't the Crimson Fox, what do we had the pleasure of meeting you here? Upon hearing this, everyone there began to shake. Even the mighty Sasuke couldn't stop shaking. He was about to make a run for it when he turned around and was met with someone he didn't want to see at that moment. Hello brother, long time no see. Itachi, what are you doing here? Sasuke stepped back trembling because he knew that he wasn't ready to face his brother yet. Now Sasuke, is that any way to greet your brother? Itachi stated with now emotion on his voice. Here I come all this way to see you, I'm hurt. You, Sasuke yelled, I'm going to kill you. And charged him, throwing punches and kicks, but Itachi just dodged them with ease. Meanwhile with Ino was face to face with Sakura. and she was trembling with fear because she knew how ruthless these people were, and one of them used to be her friend. My, look how you have grown, Ino said as she touched Sakura's face. No wonder Naruto-kun liked you so much, such a pity really. Ino walked behind her. You know it could have been you that saved him, he was so in love with you. She lied as Ino knew that Sakura was developing feelings for him. Such power. He would have been Konoha's greatest hero and with you by his side, but, she walked to her left, now he has me and Hinata-chan and we will bring this world to its knees. She finished by touching her face again before fading away. You bitch, I will kill you, Sakura yelled, and kill that demon you call your lover. He is nothing but an abomination and he will fail, this I promise you, and then Sasuke will fall in love with me. Tisk, still delusional are we? Sasuke will never love you and you want to know why? Ino showed up again in front of her, because how can someone love someone so ugly? Ino placed her pointer finger on her forehead. As she touched Sakura's skin began to burn, and she began to scream. Ino just had a wicked smile as she slid her finger down her face. With Naruto, Hinata was standing next to Naruto with her arms wrapped around him. Naruto just stared at Kakashi and Tenushi. Kakashi was extremely worried as he faced Naruto and Hinata. Tenushi was only looking at Hinata. Hinata-chan, what are you doing with that demon? He asked her. Don't call me that, only Naruto-kun can call me that, and to answer your question, I with him because I love him and I am helping him with his dreams of ruling the world. No, this can't be, you can't love him, he must have you under a spell, but don't worry, I'll kill him and break the spell, and with that he lunged at Naruto. He had a hand on his sword. Naruto on the other hand just stood there showing no emotion. To him that boy was no threat, but he would soon find out why he is feared all through the shinobi world. Seconds passed and Tenushi was about to strike Naruto, but all he hit was air as Naruto disappeared. Now no need to get all ahead of yourselves, you all will die soon enough. Naruto appeared behind him, which scared him as he didn't sense him before. All we came to do is say hello to our old friends, and with that Tenushi was knocked unconscious. Naruto grabbed his shirt before he hit the ground and threw him toward Kakashi like he was a rag doll. Now Kakashi, where were we when we were rudely interrupted? Before anyone could answer, a scream was heard. It was Sakura. Music to my ears. Zabuza and Kisame. Well, you look well, Zabuza, Kisame said as he walked towards him. As he got closer, Haku jumped in between both of them. Now girl, step away, you don't know what I am capable of, besides I have an offer for the both of you. Haku looked at Zabuza and moved out of the way as he nodded to her. What kind of offer? Zabuza asked. To join Naruto-sama on his conquest of the world, Kisame said as he got closer to him. Just imagine, he can give you power beyond your imagination. All he asks in return is to pledge your loyalty to him. So what happens if I refuse? Well, if you refuse, then you die. Trust me, you don't want that to happen, but think about it, Naruto-sama has taken an interest in you. That in itself is an honor because he would have killed you on the spot. Don't let this chance slip past you. Kisame was now standing in front of Zabuza with his hand out waiting for Zabuza to answer. What about my apprentice? Will she be able to come with me and still train her? I'm sure that is acceptable, so I take it you accept his offer. Yes, we will serve Naruto-sama in his conquest, Zabuza said now that he was standing. Good, you made the right choice, trust me, now come with me, and all three made their way towards Naruto. As they got closer, they could hear a scream, and heard Naruto say, music to my ears, which made Zabuza cringe, so much power could be heard in his voice. Lord Naruto, Lady Hinata, Zabuza and Haku have accepted to join your ranks and pledge their loyalty to you. Kisame bowed and pointed to the now bowing missing nins. Is this true? You will follow my orders with no questions, Naruto said. Hi, Naruto-sama, we Zabuza, aka Demon of the Mist, and Haku, aka Mistress of the Wind and Water, will serve you until you have no use for us or die. Both were on their knees at this point. Fine, Zabuza and Haku, you now belong to me. You will follow only my orders, no one else. You will never bow to anyone but me. Naruto went through some hand signs and his hands began to glow. He slammed his hands on each of the missing nins, after which they scream of the pain. After a minute they both got up and looked at their arms. Suddenly a curse mark in the shape of a fox appeared. At first they were red but them turned black. With that mark you will be granted power, but I give you this warning: if you ever betray me, this seal will kill you on the spot. You got me? Hi, Naruto-sama, Bo said, bowing. Well, now that has been taken care of, let's go. I'm tired. Zabuza, take me to your hideout, Naruto ordered. Hi, this way, my lord. Itachi, come, we are leaving. Ino, Haim, come, you can have your fun later, and Ino was by his side moments later. Kakashi, consider yourself lucky you lived to see another day, but let me tell you this: the next time we met I will kill you. Go home, forget about Wave, I'll take care of it soon, so go and wait for the day I kill you. Itachi with Sasuke. I will kill you, bastard, Sasuke roared as he ran towards his older brother. Itachi just dodged as Sasuke was throwing kicks and punches at him. Sasuke was getting furious because he knew that Itachi was just playing with him. Is that all? Such a weak Uchiha, I'm ashamed to call you my brother. Itachi just looked at him with no emotion on his face. You bastard, fight me and I will show you how strong I really am. Sasuke went through several hand signs before he began to spew fire out of his mouth and began to form a dragon. It went flying toward Itachi and hit him full blast. Sasuke had a smirk on his face but was quickly vanished as he saw Itachi just standing there unharmed. Is that all? That was pathetic. I will show you how it's done. And with that he went through the signs and Itachi's dragon was twice the size and faster as Sasuke didn't have enough time to dodge and was hit full blast. As the smoke cleared, Itachi walked up to his brother, looking down. See, my brother, you will always be weaker than me. If I were you, go back to the village, find someone, have children. Oh, but wait, I forgot, Naruto-sama is going to burn it to the ground. Well then just go and wait for that day. Suddenly a voice cut through the air. Come, Itachi, we are leaving. And with that Itachi replied, yes, my lord, and poofed next to Kisame and the newly recruited ninjas. Sasuke looked up at the image of the enemy leaving, and in the center he saw blonde hair with red tips. Naruto, I will kill you, and after I do I will kill Itachi, before he passed out. Kakashi looked around to the sight of his team unconscious but okay. Sasuke had bruises, cuts, and had burns all over his body. Sakura was in better shape. She had burn marks down her face. It started from the top of her head all the way down to her neck. It was obvious that she would be scarred for life. Tenushi was by far lucky because he actually fought Naruto and survived with no injuries. Tazuna looked around and nearly pissed his pants. He came face to face with the Crimson Fox and survived. Kakashi broke the silence. Come, let's get you to your house so you can pack you things. Why? Was all he can ask. Because as soon as my team wakes up we are going to escort you, your family, and any who will follow us back to Konoha, Kakashi said as he made clones to pick up his team. But we need to hurry. I don't know when he will attack, but what I do know is that he will, and trust me, he will not show any mercy, because believe me, if he wanted us dead we would be got it. Now let go, and they were off. Back at Zabuza's hideout, Naruto was sitting in one of the had sent Haku to spy on the Leaf Ninjas. Ino and Hinata were bored as they hadn't killed in days. Suddenly Gato and his men showed up. They looked straight at Zabuza, who was recovering from his fight with Kakashi. So this is what happened to the demon of the mist, got beaten by mere kids, truly pathetic. Gato stated as he walked towards Zabuza, not noticing Naruto. Where is that bitch Haku? After I kill you I am going to make her work in one of my brothels. I'm sure they will pay good money for her. Zabuza had said nothing at that point, he just decided to wait. Suddenly Ino and Hinata walked into the and saw the people present and had smirks on their faces. Well, what do we have her? Some bitches for my brothels after I have my fun, of course. Gato walked up to Ino and placed his hand on her chin. Yes, I'm going to have my fun with this one, men, you can have fun with the other. The other men, about 10 of them, had smiles on their faces as they circled her. I wouldn't do that if I were you. My master doesn't like it when other men touches his girls. Zabuza warned as he got out bed. Oh, and who is this new master you got? As he was still grabbing Ino's chin. As Zabuza got out of bed, Gato looked at his arm and saw a fox tattoo. After which he realized who his master was, which in turn who the girls were. Everyone back away from her, don't touch her. Foxfire, Iceblade, please forgive me, I didn't realize who you were. He bowed as he began to back away. Master, what are your orders? Zabuza said, and Gato's eyes were wide open when he heard his voice. I think I should let my girls decide, beside they haven't had any entertainment in a while. He looks at both girls. What do you say? You want a little preview before we head to town? Hi, Naruto-kun, I have been bored, haven't played with anyone in so long. Ino looked at Gato. I will play with him, Hinata, you can have the rest, okay? Ino had a wicked smile on her face as she walked towards Gato. Okay Ino-chan, it's okay with me, the more the merrier. And with that, Hinata walked toward the thugs. Time to play. Naruto had a wide smile that sent chills down Itachi, Kisame's spines as they were hiding in the shadows. Come Zabuza, I want to speak with you and what your new charge will be. Yes Naruto-sama, and walked behind Naruto followed by the other two, leaving Hinata and Ino to their playtime. What will Zabuza's new role be? Will Kakashi get out of waves safely before Naruto makes his move? What is the history between Tenushi and Hinata? The town of Konoha, there is a little boy running for his life. Many villagers and Chunin's level ninjas were chasing him, throwing knives and rocks. They keep chasing him until he reached a dead end. Please leave me alone. I didn't do anything. The boy cried out. I didn't do anything, why do you hate me? The villagers just looked at him with hatred and yelled things like a demon, like you can't remember what you did. And, why don't you just die? They began to beat and kick him. Many cuts and bruises were starting to form. The boy did only what he could and put himself into a ball to prevent any more injuries. The beating continued for 10 minutes, but to him it was hours. Finally they stopped and 4 of the Chunins walked up and unsheathed their katanas. They drove the blades into the young boy's chest and stomach. After that they simply walked away and left the boy for dead. As the boy began to bleed to death, a young girl with what seemed to be buns in her hair suddenly came to vision. The boy looked at her and saw her eyes were full of worry. She appeared to look back and yell for someone. Another girl came into his vision. She looked like she was about 14 or 15 years old, and the thing that he could see were her ruby-colored eyes before passing out. Suddenly Naruto sat up with sweat covering his whole body. Why do I keep dreaming about that, and who are those 2 girls at the end? He thought as he got out of his bed, not waking Hinata and Ino. He got dressed and walked out into the cold forest. A small fox suddenly appeared and bowed to his master. Master, I'm here to inform you that sound is now yours and ready for your arrival. Good to hear. Is there any more news you need to report? Hi, Ryo-san from the Land of Winds has informed me of another vassal, Shukaku the one-tailed raccoon. Ah well, I guess after my little vacation I should visit my brother. Think it's time for a family reunion. Fine, dismissed. Hi. And with that he disappeared. I grow tired of this place. Pack everything up and be ready for our departure. We leave at sunset after we deal with Wave. He ordered to a shadow behind him while dispensing huge amount of ki. Hi my lord, it will be done, the shadow said as he walked forward and the darkness was washed away to reveal Itachi. Meanwhile at Wave, Kakashi was sitting in the living room at Chizuna's house. He was thinking how things went from an escort mission to an evacuation mission. Chizuna was telling his daughter the story and what they were going to do next. Kakashi got up and went to check up on his students. Sakura had yet to wake up. Her face was completely disfigured and suffered some broken bones. Sasuke's arms were burned but was quickly healing up. He also had broken bones, but what worried him most was his state of mind. Tenushi, who surprisingly had no injuries but his pride, his mind was also his concern. Sakura began to turn in her bed and slowly woke up. Her eyes were completely void of life and an emotion. She seemed not to care for life anymore, and that scared Kakashi. He was about to say something when he felt a huge pressure coming towards them. He knew it was time. Hurry everyone, time to leave. Bring only the essentials, hurry. He ordered as he ran out of their room to warn everyone. Sakura was broken out of her train of thought and remembered what had happened to her, and anger began to rise. You bitch! You will pay for what you did to me, she said as she felt the scars running down her face. Oh yeah, you will pay dearly. With she got up and got her stuff. Tenushi was still sitting on his bed thinking about what had happened. Why, Hinata? Why would you follow that demon? I loved you ever since we were little, so why follow him and not me? No, it can't be true. He must have you in a spell or something. Don't worry, my dear Hinata, I will save you from that demon. Just watch. And with that he got up with determination in his eyes. I will save you and make you mine. And he left the room. Sasuke was looking at the wall, brooding at what had happened the day before. Why can't I beat him? And why is he following that demon? I will kill both of them and become the most powerful ninja in the world like I should be. He slowly got out of his bed and walked downstairs to find his waiting team and the family. They made their way into town and found a large crowd waiting for them. Kakashi yelled, "Okay, now we are going to Konoha and we will not stop. There is a very dangerous person out to kill us, so if you fall behind you will be left to fend for yourselves. Now let's get moving." Everyone was terrified for their lives as they began to move out of their homes. Out in the distance was a pair of eyes watching the whole thing. She was about to turn around to tell her master the news when she saw him walking down the road. "Master, the villagers are beginning to move out of the village. They are being escorted back to Konoha." "Well, looks like the prey is on the move then. Did any stay behind?" "Yes, my master, about half did stay behind, mainly men, but some women and children also." "Well, let's go say hello then." And with that all his minions and girls followed Naruto as he made his way to the village. He made his way to the center of the village and began his speech. "Villagers of Wave, I have came to tell you that your village is now saved from the clutches of Gato. As proof I bring you his head." He looked at Ino, who walked up to him and pulled the severed head out of a bag. "See, here is your proof. Come and see everyone." After he finished his speech, many villagers that stayed behind started to come out of their homes. As soon as they saw the head they began to cheer. One of the villagers asked, "Tell us, who are you so we may praise your name?" "My name is Naruto Uzumaki, but many call me by the name of the Crimson Fox." At that many of the villagers stopped cheering and stared at them with fear. "But how they told us you were a ruthless killer who would kill for no reason." "Tell me who says these things." "The Leaf. Let me tell you something, the Leaf, they are the ruthless killers, not me. Yes, I kill, I am a ninja and it's my job to protect my people." "But they say you're a demon and should not be trusted." One of the villagers yelled. "A demon? I guess you can call me that, but tell me, would a demon free your village?" "No, he would not, he would destroy it. The Leaf has clouded your minds and tried to take you back to its village so they can turn you into slaves. The men in work camps, the women in brothels to fulfill their lust, the boys would be sent to the richest family as their slaves, and the girls would be sold to rich fat businessmen as their personal plaything. Disgusting. But I am here to offer you a safe haven from them, as they will come back and take you by force next time." The villagers began to think about what Naruto had said and looked at the children and women. The men couldn't believe that the Leaf would do such a thing, but then remembered what Kakashi had said about that man. What they heard and what they seen was totally different, so they made their choice, and in one thunderous voice yelled, "All hail our new leader Naruto Uzumaki, the Crimson Fox," over and over again. Naruto raised his hand and his follower. "Now everyone, we march to sound, and I promise you that you will never have to worry about becoming slaves of that village or any village ever again." "What about our friends? What will happen to them?" one of the villagers asked. "My people, I am sorry to inform you that their minds are completely clouded by the Leaf and it's too late for them, but I will do the only thing I could. I will free them from their bondage. May they forgive me when I meet them again in the afterlife. Now go to your new home." Naruto turned around to look at Itachi, Zabuza, Kisame, and Haku. "I want you to take them to sound and set them up in their new homes. We will meet up in a few days." Hi, they all said as they bowed. Well, Ino Heim, Hinata Heim, ready to say goodbye to our friends. Naruto. Kakashi was getting very worried. How was he going to protect the villagers? He only had 3 genins. From he had heard, the Crimson Fox was very powerful and ruthless. They were running for hours. They would have made to the border hours ago, but now they had about 15,000 innocent people to protect. He looked back and saw that they were tired. He signaled them to stop. Okay, we rest for 10 minutes, drink and eat quickly. He walked back to his team and was completely worried for them. Sakura was looking into the distance and was apparently thinking about something. First, I'll kill that demon you love so much, Ino, then I will slowly cut up that pretty little face of yours. You will pay for ruining my face. Sasuke was brooding as always. Damn you, brother. I will get stronger and make you pay, but first I will kill that bastard you call your master. Then I will be the strongest in the land. Oh, that will be the greatest day. Tenushi was looking at his sword and had a determined look on his face. It looked like he was waiting for the attack. I'm going to kill the demon who stole my Hinata, and when I do, his spell will be broken. She will see that and we will get married like was first intended. Hinata, just wait a little while longer and your nightmare will be over. Kakashi looked back towards Wave and wondered if Naruto had killed the remaining villagers yet. He decided it was time to move. Let's go everyone, time to move out. And with that they began to move. Unknown to them that they were being watched. My lord, why didn't you kill then villagers back there? An female voice said. Well, Ino Heim, we need followers. People who will die for my cause with no questions, the middle shadow said. And what of these? Can I have my fun with them? The other said. Yes, Hinata Heim, you can, but remember we need only 10,000 souls for what I am about to do. Oh goody, thanks Naruto-kun. Do you think he will do what was asked of him? He better if he ever wants to see her again. What of the others? Ino asked. Sasuke and Sakura I want alive. I want them to feel pain for the rest of their short lives, but that other kid I care not, so do as you please. Naruto looked on as the villagers walked on, not knowing that their lives were about to be sacrificed. Come, it's time. With they walked towards the unsuspecting villagers. My, what do we have here? Naruto said as he walked out of the forest. I guess it's time to play, wouldn't you say, girls? Now sing the song of death. Suddenly 2 voices began to sing and fill the air. The villagers stopped in their tracks as they heard the angelic voices. Sakura, Sasuke, and Tenushi all realized that it was a genjutsu and quickly dispelled it. My, how you grown, but do you honestly going to defeat and stop me? I will kill you and take your power. I will become the most powerful ninja in the world. Sasuke yelled as he ran towards Naruto. You will die for what you did to my Hinata. You corrupted her and put her in that spell, now die. Tenushi ran towards to kill the one man that was in his way of getting Hinata back. Ah, the demon finally decided to show his face, so tell me, where is that bitch at? I got a score to settle with the bitch. Sakura just looked at Naruto with all the hatred she could muster. My, so eager to die, and here I thought we could play. Naruto said with a smile on his face as Sasuke threw a kick at Naruto's face. Naruto only ducked and caught his leg, throwing it to the side leaving his head open, where Naruto used as he punched Sasuke in the face, sending him flying back 15 feet. Tenushi was about to hit Naruto when he thought his back was turned, only to receive a kick to his side, breaking several ribs. Tenushi looked up and what he saw was the most beautiful thing in his eyes, Hinata. Hinata, why would you go with this demon? I thought you loved me. Tenushi said as he looked upon his love. Like I would love a weakling like you. My heart belongs to Naruto-kun and I will follow him into hell where we will rule for all time. Now prepare to die as I haven't killed in such a long time. Hinata walked up to the now terrified Tenushi. No, I won't accept that. I know you love me. We were supposed to get married and live a long and happy life. It was that demon, he contaminated you mind and soul, but don't worry my love, I will break that spell he put on you and we can go back to Konoha where we can get married and forget this ever happened. Hinata thought she would have a little more fun and decided to play with his head. She clutched her head and began to act as if she was in pain. Tenushi-kun, please help me. I don't want to do this anymore, please. Help me. She continued to hold her head and got onto her knees. Back with Sasuke, he was on the ground writhing in pain as Naruto broke his nose. He slowly got up and got into his fighting stance. Tell me, Naruto, if memories serve me right, you were the dead last at the academy. How did you become so powerful? Tell me now. Like it matter anyway, there is no way you will ever get it, but I will tell you anyways. You can say that I get all my powers from my mother and father, an inheritance so to speak. Now let me show you what real power is. Everything around Naruto began to shake, the rocks around him slowly began to rise and disintegrate around him, red chakra engulfed him. His hair began to get spikier, his canines were longer, his nails were growing into a claw-like state, and lastly his eyes were now blood red and almost seemed to glow with pure evil. Prepare to die, Uchiha, a slow and very painful death. Naruto disappeared into thin air and reappeared in front of Sasuke, hitting him with an uppercut, sending him flying high up into the air. Sakura was watching the whole thing. She saw the transformation of Naruto and how he sent her beloved Sasuke flying. She was about to jump in when she heard someone. I wouldn't do that if I were you. She immediately turned around and saw Ino standing right behind her. You bitch, I am going to kill you for what you did to my face. Sakura then started to throw punches at Ino. Ino on the other hand just dodged the punches like they were nothing. It's truly magnificent, isn't it? Naruto's true form. Haven't seen it since that time we went to that small border town and killed everyone in it. Those were good times. Oh, but where are my manners? I sorry, here you are trying to kill me and here I am just remembering the past. Now where were we? Oh right. Ino looked back at Sakura as she began to throw more of her sorry excuse of punches at her. Sakura, you truly are weak. Here, let me show you something. Ino finally got into her fighting stance. Don't worry, Sakura, I will go easy on you. With that she disappeared. Then the wind picked up. Sakura didn't know what was going on until she felt pain on her stomach. Want was that I didn't even see her hit me. Must be a trick, but no, the pain is real. Suddenly as she saw a flash, jumping to avoid the kick at the last minute. She was on guard when the next series of attacks came at her. She managed to avoid many of them but couldn't stop the last one as it hit her on the arm. A snap was heard followed by a scream. The bitch broke my arm. Damn, she is too strong, and if she is holding back there is no way I can take her on. Got to find a way to get out of this situation before she kills me. She was brought out of her daze as she felt intense pain on her left leg. Ino had broken her leg in 4 places, making it almost impossible to move. Well, that was no fun. Man, here I thought you would at least give me some form of entertainment. Boy, I guess I was wrong. I should kill you here and end your sorry excuse of a life, but I will let you live, train and become stronger, because when I come back I expect a challenge. Oh, by the way, here is a little gift to help you keep yourself motivated. Ino walked up to Sakura and bent down, lifted the right hand. That hand began to glow red then black. The black fires of hell, it is said, once burned with it the pain will never go away. She placed her hand on Sakura's left arm. The arm was then engulfed in the black fire. Sakura began to scream as loud as she possibly can before passing out. Truly weak and pathetic. Back with Hinata and Tenushi. Hinata was on her knees faking that she was in pain and wanted to be broken from her spell. Please, Tenushi-kun, break the spell. I can't hold on anymore, I just want to go home. Tenushi just ran up to Hinata worried that she was in pain. What, Hinata, I will save you from this hell, I promise. Suddenly as he was about to reach Hinata he felt pain in his stomach and before he realized it his was airborne. Such a fool, so blinded from your obsession towards me, and that is your downfall. Prepare to meet mother. Hinata slowly walked over towards Tenushi as he landed 10 feet away. Tell me, did you really love me or my position as heiress of the Hyuga clan? After the question Tenushi thought for a minute before Hinata spoke again. Oh, a pause. I guess I got the answer. you only wanted me for my position in society, and for that your life is now over. Hinata, no, that's a lie. I do really love you ever since I first met you when we were 6 and I didn't know what love was. I loved you. You were so beautiful and strong, but then that demon showed up and ruined everything. That never stopped me from trying to get you to notice me, but you only had eyes for him. Tenushi had tears running down his face as he spoke those words. Please Hinata-chan, fight whatever spell he has you under on. Realize that I am a better person for you. I am ready to give you my heart to you and devote everything to make you as happy as you can possibly be for the rest of my life. Oh really, you ready to give your heart and devote your life to me, huh? The Hinata got into a thinking pose as a wicked smile came over her face. Okay, I'll take you up on that. She got closer to Tenushi and slammed her right arm into his chest and pulled his still beating heart. As the heart was still beating and blood squirted from it, she raised it to her face and drank the blood. Tenushi just watched in horror as he saw the woman he ever loved rip out his heart and drank the blood from it as if it was a soft drink. So sweet, he heard her say. Hinata-chan, why? There is no way that you could act like this, but you are. His body still hadn't reacted from the shock, but slowly it was becoming limp. As he fell to his knees, tears were flowing freely. Hinata looked at Tenushi with no emotions whatsoever. She watched as he fell to his knees and the tears that flowed, and still nothing. To her he was just another worthless human, only in this world to provide her with entertainment. She saw the life drain from the eyes of Tenushi and only a sinister smile crept onto her face. She walked up to him and looked down at him. Now you will die. Say hello to mother when you see her and have fun. She lifted her left hand and gathered demonic charka. When she had gathered enough, she slammed her hand into his temple, then stomach, and finally into the hole that used to house his heart. Seconds later his head exploded, sending brain matter into the air. His stomach followed. His intestines now decorated some of the trees that were nearby. Finally his torso exploded, sending more blood flying. For 20 seconds it rained blood and Hinata just stood there with her hands out and her face looking up. She had her mouth open and drank the blood as it hit her face. Kakashi just stood there as he saw his student blow up at the hands of Hinata, also the mutilation of his other student, Sakura, in which she will be in constant pain for the rest of her life. Now his attention rests on his prized student fight the most sadistic person in the world. He couldn't help and feel guilty for setting them up, but the offer was too good to pass up. Flashback 2 days ago. It was after their first encounter with the Crimson Fox. They had finally made their way to the client's house safely without much trouble. Kakashi had just finished checking up on his students. He walking in the woods close to the village. Little did he know that Naruto had sent a fox to deliver him a message. Suddenly Kakashi was face to face with a red fox with 2 tails. Kakashi-san, my master has a message for you. And with that a letter materialized as the fox disappeared. Kakashi picked up the letter and read the message. Hitaki-san, I have looked into your soul in that little encounter yesterday. I have an offer for you. If you are interested, come and meet me at the places specified later tonight at 3. This is only a one-time deal. If you refuse this, you will never get another chance. Crimson Fox. Kakashi was deep in thought about the whole situation. What to do? Should I go see him? But what if it's a trap and attacks while I go? Then again, I would like to know what kind of deal he has to offer. I guess it wouldn't hurt to just go and see him. Kakashi looked at the letter and found the directions to the meeting place and burned the letter to get rid of the evidence that he was in contact with the enemy. He walked back to the house as it was getting late and he needed to check up on his team. His team still hadn't woken up from their slumber, so he decided to wait outside after dinner. It was almost time for his secret meeting with Naruto, so he made his way through the forest to the assigned area where he was told to go. Finally he reached the spot with 5 minutes to spare. Ah, you're early. That good, I like that in people. A voice spoke. It sounded like it was coming from every direction. Now I have a proposition for you. Tell me, what is it that your heart desires? Kakashi thought for a minute before his eyes opened wide. Naruto saw this and a wicked smile formed on his face. What do you want from me, Naruto? I want you to join my ranks. train my troops, and ultimately crush my enemies. As your reward, I will give you what your heart desires most. Kakashi couldn't believe what he was hearing. Could he really betray everyone in Konoha just for him to get what he wants more? Why not? If there is a chance for me to be happy, I know it's selfish, but I don't care. I will Naruto-sama. What is my first order? Naruto just gave out a laugh that would make the bravest man cry like an infant child. Good, everything is going according to plan. Soon nothing will stand in my way. Kakashi, what I need from you is. Had been over 2 weeks since Team 7 was sent to Wave, and something was bothering him ever since. It wasn't common knowledge that Kakashi secretly hated Konoha. It had been this way since the lose of his first teammates. Somehow he knew that something bad was going or is happening that will forever change the course of the world, if for the better or worst one can't tell. He was brought out of his musings when 2 of his most trusted Anbu ninjas came into his office. The council had wanted the third to have minimum access to the villages. They feared that an assassination attempt will occur and bring the demon back to Konoha. Sir, we have recovered what seems to the body of Orochimaru, one of them said as he bowed. What do you mean? Seem, can't you tell if it is him or not? The third asked. Well, sir, it only seems that we found the body, but it was severely mutilated. It was missing his head and arms. The convoy was totally obliterated. Blood and body parts littered the area. It looks like they were killed slowly and painfully, if the faces was any indication. Fine. Can you tell me where they were headed? We found letters on the body stating a secret meeting to discuss an alliance to a fairly new village. Makigakure. It's calling themselves. Just then a Chunin walked into the office and handed a report to the Anbu. He read it, and after he finished he looked at the Hokage. Sir, sound has been destroyed. Reports state that it was this new village, Makigakure. This confirms that Orochimaru is indeed the body in the morgue, as he was probably set up to drop his guard. Once that happened, he was killed. Damn, this is no good. It is obvious that this new village is strong if they can take out Orochimaru and his village in one move, and with time could one day rival us. We can't let that happen, but to go to war on someone who hasn't did anything isn't good either. Maybe we can form an alliance with them. The Hokage looked at his nins and sighed. Send 2 ambassadors to them, also find Jiraiya, tell him to try and find any information on their leader. Also, all mission are now finished. Send out messenger hawks to find our ninjas and to come back. He raised his hand to show that he was finished. Everyone bowed and went to carry his orders. I'm getting too old for this shit. Why did you have to leave Naruto? All this started because of you. Flashback over. It had been a week and most of the ninjas were now coming home from their abandoned missions. The third was getting very worried. Why? Because Team 7 hadn't come back, or replied. The council was pressuring him to send a team of Anbu, not because they cared about the team. No, only because the Uchiha was still out there and they couldn't afford to lose him. I want you 4 to go to Wave Country and escort Team 7 back safely. 4 Anbu nins bowed and blended into the shadow to begin their mission. Back in Wave, Sasuke was bleeding badly. Nothing he did seemed to stop Naruto. He tired everything, even his Sharingan wasn't slowing him down. Was there nothing that could stop this demon? Naruto looked bored. He had hoped to at least work up a sweat, but this was pathetic. Naruto began his assault again, hitting Sasuke in the ribs, quick jabs to the head, and a kick at his legs, resulting in a shattered leg. Sasuke was finished. There was nothing he could do. Naruto, on the other hand, had something special in mind. Tell me, my dear Makoto-chan, what do you think of your son? Suddenly a shadow walked out of the forest. It was wearing a cloak that covered every feature of the body. The shadow removed the hood that blocked the view of its face to reveal a beautiful face, a beauty that rivaled the goddesses themselves, and as she removed her cloak it was obvious that her figure came from the goddess themselves. She looked at Sasuke with disdain. Mother, how can this be? You are dead. I saw you die myself. Even my bastard of a brother made me watch it over and over for 3 hours, Sasuke cried as he was surprised to see his mother alive. Shut the up, you sorry excuse of an Uchiha, you're just like your father and arrogant. I am glad Itachi-kun did all a favor and killed them. Now Naruto-kun, Lady Kira wants to know if everything is going according to plan. Of course, my dear Miki-chan, I have the souls ready to begin the ritual soon. Mother will have her other half and her maid back, and you will be by my side, and together we will rebuild your clan back to its former glory, if not better. But what do we do about your son here? Naruto asked as he put his arm around her waist and brought her close to his body, which Sasuke was pissed beyond imagination. Son? What son? My son is in your village getting ready for you glorious return, my lord. That piece of trash is just some accident. As for the ritual, I will go and tell my mistress that everything is going according to plan. I can't wait to be with you and bring our clan back. With that, Makoto kissed Naruto passionately. Naruto saw the anger in Sasuke's eyes, so he thought to push things little farther. He went and grabbed Makoto's, getting a moan from her. They soon broke their kiss, and with a bow she disappeared into nothingness, and her voice could be heard. Can't wait for the real thing, my lord. As for that trash, I don't think he is worthy to have our eyes. Then the voice vanished. You heard your mother. You don't deserve those eyes, but I know who does. Kakashi, take those eyes from him. They are a gift for you. But my lord, I already have a Sharingan eye and I can't turn it off. Kakashi said, much to Sasuke's surprise. Fine then, just take one of them. I guess I will be generous. And don't worry about turning them off. I got someone who has been training with Kami himself. I know she will help you out when the time comes. I know you will pleasantly surprised on who she is. Kakashi walked up to his former student and pulled out a kunai knife. He slowly bent down and plunged the knife into Sasuke's left eye socket and pulled out his eye while it was still active. He sealed it into a scroll so it can implant it later. Sasuke looked up at Kakashi with surprise. Why, Kakashi? Why did you betray Konoha? I thought you loved the village. Me love that place. No, I've lost my love to that place long ago when I lost her. That place sent her on a suicide mission because she found some information about Naruto-sama and his parents. Because of that, I will follow Naruto-sama to hell when he fulfills his part of the deal. He began to walk away from the mutilated Sasuke and stood next to Naruto. My lord, what are we to do with them? And he pointed to the villagers that he brought to Naruto. And also, what happened to the rest of Wave, if I could ask? Oh, of course, Kakashi. The people of Wave are now part of Makigakure. As for the land, I have already sent some of my people still in that Rain City and ordered them to build up a navy and businesses to start making revenue for my village. As for these, they have the honor of becoming sacrifices for the ritual. Come, let's begin with it soon. I feel trouble is coming this way. Not that I minds more bloodshed, but I'm a busy demon and have many things to do. And he walked towards the villager who were still under the influence of the Genjutsu. He began to make several hand signs. Suddenly the ground began to glow white. Several seals started to appear. A wall of charca engulfed the area and produced a dome that could be seen miles away, which got the attention of the Anbu team as they made their way towards Wave, but unknown to either of them, they got the attention of a small group of wandering ninjas. They all had cloaks to cover their faces. One of them spoke, getting the attention from the rest of the group. That energy is demonic by nature. We must go and destroy it. This is the duty of the demon slayers, we who have no past, no future, sworn to protect the world from these abominations, even if they don't know it. We are the last of our kind and as such must not fail. Suddenly all the ninjas started to blend into the ground to make their way towards the area where they seen the dome appear. Naruto was still doing hand signs until the seals glowed purple. When this happened, he walked to the circle in front, the oblivious lambs, once called villagers of Wave. Oh, great spirit of the underworld, hear my call, come forth. Suddenly a black hole appeared on the ground. Out of the hole a great spirit came forth from it. It looked like a great angel. Its hair was golden brown. It had 6 wings, 2 covered its feet and torso, 2 covered its face, and the remainder it used to fly. Who dares call me here to the mortal world? Speak now or I shall destroy this place. Forgive me, great spirit. I am the one who called you forth. My name is Naruto Uzumaki. Uzumaki, ah, I know who you are. It is an honor to meet the Prince of Hell. Tell me, how is your mother? That is why I have called you here. I need your blessing, as you're the angel of life and death. I see, so you are planning to reunite her spirit, with her other half, making her whole again. But let me ask you, why do you need my blessing? Oh great spirit, that is a very long tale and we don't time, so to speed things up I will show you. He made some hand signs, after which the angel was dragged into Naruto's mind. After a minute he came out again. You poor soul, to have been treated in such a matter. Those pathetic humans should not have treated you in such a way. As for your request, it's granted only if you brought me the sacrifice needed to complete the ritual. But of course I have 10,000 souls as to our agreement. The angel of life and death began to chant in an ancient tongue. Suddenly the villagers' souls were being ripped out of their bodies. Naruto could see the fear in the eyes of the poor souls before they were summoned into the hands of the angel. The souls were compressed and compressed until they were the size of a small pebble. The jewel of 10,000 souls. With this you have complete control over the Shinigami. With it you can call souls long dead to serve you as long as you have a body for them, or if you still have their remains, no matter how decomposed, they will regenerate back to their former glory. The angel began to chuckle at something he remembered. I remember a pitiful mortal soul who tried to imitate this only to have an incomplete ritual. His summons were pathetic and had no minds of their own. They attacked anything in front of them, but with this jewel you will have their full souls along with memories, or not, if that is what you wish. I see. Thank you for this wonderful gift. He bowed as he saw the angel go back to the underworld. As he was about to turn around, he heard someone yell, "Prepare to die, vile demon. We of the secret order are here to return you back to hell where you belongs. Now die." Naruto looked at the group and growled at them as he knew who they were and what they did. They were the demon hunters. Their only goal in life is to kill all demonic forces in the world. Assembled long ago by monks after a tribe of nomadic demon came and burned their temple to the ground. They trained in the wilderness for years, harnessing its power to hold demonic beings at bay. The group was about 10 people strong. Naruto stared at the group with his demonic eye and smirk. One had caught his attention. It was the youngest of the group. She had white hair that reached the middle of her back. She had it tied into a ponytail. Her skin was a deep tan color, testament to her time outside. Her face had a cold and emotionless look to it, which in some way enhanced her beauty. Even if her face didn't betray her emotion, her eyes said it all. Her caramel eyes showed a deep sense of longing, but of what Naruto did not know. He knew that this group did not want material thing, and thing-like emotions got in the way, almost reminded him of the route back in his old village. But this one showed all her emotions in her eyes. The leader of the group saw that Naruto was not paying any attention to his group but only one female. He then knew what had happened. Ever since he found the girl, he had tried to train her in his ways. Even though he had succeeded in training her, he could never kill all her emotions, and one emotion that he was deeply concerned of was hatred. It was no secret that she hated the group ever since they killed her mother and father. They tried to explain to her that it was just a mission, but the only thing they managed to do it lessen the hate. In the next following years the hatred had lessened and lessened, but the fear was still there that their secret would one day come to light of what really happened on that fateful night. Now Tenchu had a problem. A demon of unknown strength was looking at the girl that he had come to love as a daughter, even if he would not admit it. "Kunara, don't look into its eyes. Look away," he yelled as he rushed Naruto, but Ino and Hinata intercepted him and nearly took his head off if it wasn't for another of his clansmen took the blow and was killed. After he saw the two girls he immediately knew who he was dealing with, but he had a bigger problem. Meanwhile, deep in the subconscious of Kunara, Naruto walked down the hallways looking for something. He only found memories of when she was the group, that is, until he came to a door that seemed to be locked and had chains across it. He was about to break it open when something yelled, "What are you doing here? Leave, you are not welcome here." Naruto looked back at the manifestation of the girl spirit. He only gave her a large evil grin as he began to pour his tainted chakra into a ball. "Girl, you interest me. Tell me, why is this door locked?" he said as he looked into the girl's confused expression. Surely this girl knew of the sealed door, or did she? Upon closer inspection, he noticed that there was a seal on the door that masked the door, making it invisible. What was behind this door that the mental barriers had to be in place? Maybe it could be something that would benefit him in the near future. Fine, I will leave, but let me give you a small gift. Hope you enjoy it. And he vanished, leaving behind a small ball of red charca. It began to grow and grow until it exploded, revealing the masked door to the young girl. She went to open the door, and when she did, all those hidden emotions and memories came back to her. The only thing she could do is scream into the heavens as pain coursed throughout her body. Meanwhile, in the real world, Ino and Hinata were having a blast, killing the lesser members of the group. That is until the top three came into the fight. They had used nature chakra to hold them both at bay. Badly beaten, Ino and Hinata were getting desperate. If something did not happen in the next couple of seconds, they would be dead. Their prayers were answered by the scream of the remaining female demon hunter. It was enough to distract the other three men as they looked at the girl with concern in their eyes. When this happened, Ino and Hinata escaped the chakra cage they were in. Kunara suddenly stopped screaming and fell to the ground unconscious. Naruto looked on with a sick grin on his face, and even though he did not show it, he was tired. Bringing forth the angel of life and death, and jumping into the subconscious of someone's mind and destroying it put a strain on his being. He decided that this would be perfect time to escape. Well, this is fun and all, but I am a busy demon and don't have time to play right now. So I will take my leave, he said as he bowed, mocking the remaining demon hunters. We will meet again and then we can all play. Then he chuckled as red chakra engulfed him and his followers. It was then that the team of Anbu had finally arrived. What they found would forever be engraved into their memories. Many corpses were littered all over the ground, some were savagely ripped apart and scattered. Others looked like husks drained of all body fluids, and from the look on their faces it was a slow process and they suffered until the end. What would forever be in their memories was a woman who was holding a child no older than 7. She was holding on what seemed to them was her son, but she had stabbed him in the heart as his face did not show the same pained one as his mother. This had meant that she had killed him before what had happened to her could affect him. The Anbu then went to look for Team 7 only to find one dead, brutally from what they can see, 2 of the survivors severely maimed and broken as one kept saying that, "It isn't true, you are dead." Over and over. When they went to see if he had any injuries, they were startled to find that one of his eyes had been ripped from his head. Then when they went to see the female, they noticed that she had burn marks all over her face and arms, and from what they could find she would be in pain for the rest of her life. As they continued to look around in the carnage, they noticed that Jonin-sensei was nowhere to be found. They assumed that he was killed and dropped the search as they other matters to attend to. Taking the remaining team back to the village and give them the medical attention they needed. As they were about to leave, they had found 4 other survivors. They were on guard, thinking that they were the attackers and had come back to finish the job. After confronting the 4, they had been invited to come to Konoha and speak with the Hokage. They agreed, seeing that they needed to take the girl to a hospital and give her a full checkup and see what kind of damage the demon lord had inflicted on her. With that, the group picked up the injured and made the trip back to the village. Naruto was furious, no beyond furious. He had almost went into a blood rage. How dare these disgusting humans interfere with his plans? Disgusting peasants, how dare interfere with my goal? And to so much and touch my mates. I will make them pay. He yelled as he let out a huge amount of killer intent that it was actually killing the trees and animals around him. It was so much so that Ino and Hinata were on the ground in a submissive stance in fear of Naruto. When he noticed that his mates were scared of him, he let up the ki and placed his hands on both their cheeks in a loving manner that comforted them. I am sorry, my Himes, I did not mean to yell. You have nothing to fear. It is just infuriating to know that those monkeys could do such damage to us, he said as he pulled them both in a hug. After comforting and healing his mates, he turned to Kakashi as he was standing near a clearing looking in the direction of where his home once was. Kakashi, come here and receive my mark. Naruto said, breaking Kakashi out of his thoughts. Kakashi walked over to his new lord and bowed down in front of him. Kakashi, do you swear your loyalty to me and my empire? Naruto asked. I pledge my loyalty to you, Naruto-sama, and will in service to you until my death, or you have no use of me, he said as he thought of Rin and how soon she would be in her arms again. He had sold his soul to a demon, but he did not care. Very well. Now I impart you will my mark, but this mark will be different from the slavery ones I give. This mark will be the one of royalty given to those that have seen my favor, and even though when I was human you tried to kill me. You also saved me countless time, and for that I make you one of the lords of my court. Then Naruto made a couple of hand signs and his hand glowed purple instead of red. The then put his hand on Kakashi's right arm. After a couple of seconds the glowing went away and a purple fox was now imprinted on his arm. And as to our agreement, I promised you one soul. Who will it be, Kakashi? Who do you want me to bring forth? Kakashi did not have to think about it as he said, please bring me Rin, the only woman I would ever love and was taken away from me. Very well, Naruto said as he pulled the stone that he just gotten. The stone then began to glow as Naruto put some of his chakra into it. Come forth to the land of the living, Rin. The ground opened up and a gate came forth. The gate slowly opened as a withered woman came forth. She slowly walked into the living plane. Kakashi could not believe what he was seeing. This was not the Rin that he remembered. This thing was more bone than anything. He felt that he was cheated and was about to say something before Naruto called to him. Kakashi, this is in fact the woman you once loved, but she has been dead for over 10 years. She needs Charka to regain her former self. You must give her some of your Charka, but I warn you, if you supply her with yours, then both of you will become Charka vampires. The seal I gave you gives you immortality, so you can't die, but if you don't feed, then you become so weak that a genin could beat you. Are you sure you want this? Kakashi thought it over for a while. Did he really want this? Would he be ready to cross that line? What if Rin did not want this and hates him for it? Other questions came to his mind, but his question was answered when the woman spoke. Kakashi, is that you? She said in a raspy voice as if she had been yelling for a long time. It is you. Please don't send me back there. It is horrible. It is worse than anything I thought hell would be like. Kakashi walked up to the withered woman and placed his hand on her face. Yes, he made the right choice. Rin, please take my chakra and be by my side for eternity as queen of vampires. Once this was said, Rin bit Kakashi's neck and began to suck the life force or chakra out of him. Once she had her fill, her body began to glow, before erupting into a blinding light. After the light vanished, gone was the withered woman. In her place was one of the most beautiful women Naruto had ever seen, not including his mates of course. She had pale white skin, with blood-red lips and two fang-like marks on her face. Her long black hair that looked like silk was neatly tied into a ponytail and reached to the small of her back. She was wearing a black kimono with red fangs all over them. The kimono itself did nothing to hide the body underneath, though not showing any skin, it did show off all her dangerous curves. Her eyes now had a blood-red hue to them, but she wasn't the only one who had changed. Kakashi had also went through a transformation. Not a big one, but some noticeable feature could be seen. His face was now blemish-free and the scar he once had was now gone. His Sharingan eye was now deactivated and his eyes were now the same color as his mate. His body seemed to fill out more and he became more agile. Ah, I see that you have changed also, Kakashi. Come, it's time to return to my village and plan our next move. Naruto said as he walked towards what was once Oto. Kakashi and Rin began to walk with Naruto. Now it's time to talk about what your roles will be. As I told Kakashi, you are now vampires, but instead of blood you drain the charka of your prey. The same principles apply to you as any vampires. If you bite your victims, you will inject your taint into them. In time they will either become vampires if they are pure and be one of your children, or if not they will become mindless ghouls that will destroy anything in their path. They can only be controlled by the one who infected them. Naruto said as they walked towards Makigakure. It had taken them 4 hours before they reached the border of their new evil empire. Once they crossed, they were met with Itachi and Tobi. Naruto was no idiot, as he knew who Tobi really was. They had a confrontation the day that Naruto took over the organization. They had came to an agreement that Naruto was going to give Madara control of the western section of the empire to do as he sees fit. Madara in turn gave him his clan to do as he saw fit. Which at the time seemed like a good idea until Madara recapped the deal and saw that he got the short end of the deal, but it was too late seeing as he was already bonded with the seal. At first he was furious, but then decided that there was nothing he could do about it. Naruto was his lord now, and he lost the chance to create a Uchiha-only nation, seeing that Naruto was also lord of the Uchiha. Master, welcome to Makigakure. Everything has been set for your glorious return. Itachi said as they both bowed to him. Has my general been placed yet? Naruto asked. Hi. Zabuza and his apprentice have been placed at the military compound and has been training the new recruits in the way of warfare. Madara said. Good. Kakashi here will be in charge of the special forces. Naruto said. Then he turned to the vampire couple. I expect an army of vamps by the end of the week. Take any of the citizens that you deem fit. Of course, my lord, it will be done, but I have a question. Where are we to be stationed at? Oh, course. Naruto said. Then he pointed to the castle that just below another one. That is to be the home of the vampires. Name it as you see fit. I will bring you human servants and weaponsmiths. They are not to be harmed. And as time goes by, I will grant you the eastern lands for your own kingdom. You honor us, Lord Naruto. Rin said as she bowed to him. Come, it is time we head inside, as I tire and have yet to spend time with my beloveds in quite some time. I also must speak with mother. Naruto said as Itachi and Tobi guided him into the village hidden in hell. Things could not be getting any worse, as Sarutobi was sweating at the news that Team 7 had a run-in with Naruto, or the Crimson Fox, as he was called now. He had met with the remaining demon hunter and they came up with an agreement for the hunters to stay in the village as a new clan so they can recruit new members. He was also saddened by the fact that they had lost one of their most powerful ninjas. Kakashi was the source of most of their jutsus nowadays, seeing that he had the only working Sharingan at that time. It was him that would go out and find new jutsu to add to Konoha's strength. The council was in an uproar when they found out that he had been killed in action by the demon lord, and to make matter worse, they had taken one of the eyes of the Uchiha, for what purpose they did not know. The Haruno was of no consequence as she was not from a shinobi clan. Tenushi's massacre sent shocks down everyone as he was the grandson of the daimyo. He was furious when he found out that he was killed on an easy C-rank mission. It wasn't until they told him about the demon lord that thing really hit the fan. He told them that they were responsible for the creation of the demon, seeing that he was human at one time. If they had not provoked Naruto, then he would not have found out about his demonic mother and accepted her. He would have been a strong weapon for the village even if he did not know it, but no, their fear had gotten the better of them and made him into a deadly enemy. It wouldn't be a surprise if Naruto was in Hell Village right now. That of course got the attention of the council. If Naruto was in Hell Village, then he would become a more powerful than anyone in Leaf. They could not let that happen. They had to find some way for Naruto to return to the Leaf, but how? The way that they treated him growing up, only an idiot would be foolish enough to come back to that. They knew that they could not attack him as it would bring his fury to the village early. No, the only thing that they could do is train the ninja so that when Naruto does come they would have a fighting chance. Another thing that the council had concerns about were assassination attempt on the third. If the old man was to die, then that would bring Naruto back to the village and they could not afford that right now, so they had made the Hokage stay in his office surrounded by highly trained Anbu around him at all times. They also restricted the amount of visitors he could have in one day. Even though the mood in the village was somber and quiet, fear was prominent in everyone. The only hope they had now was the arrival of the new clan. They had made a special class just for them. This class of ninja was the Demon Hunter Jonins. Many of the younger ninjas, mostly genins, joined their training regiment so that they could better fight the new evil threat of the village. Sasuke was sent to a mental ward after his attempted suicide after he was released from the hospital. Danzo had personally taken interest in his mental rehabilitation, though Sasuke had lost much of his memory because of the trauma. He still remembered Naruto and his brother. He promised that he will bring down the demon and bring honor back to the Uchiha clan. Sakura was the first to join the special training as she had a score to settle with her once friend. She had her face covered by a metal face mask that hid her terrible scars. It was made to look like an actual face with the outline of a mouth and nose. The eyes were covered by black material that was hard like steel, but she was able to see out of them. Her arms were covered in medicated gauze that helped the burning sensation, if only for a little while. She would soon use the pain as a tool to help her defeat the demons.